Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Stories with Pastor Macy. Today we are reading part 4 of Benny the Beaver. It's kind of a long book, so we've split it up into 5 sections. And I hope that you have been following along with us. First, we learned about how beavers live and what they like to eat. And then there was a coyote hiding behind a brush pile. And thankfully, one of the other beavers warned Benny and his dad, and they were able to get away. And then Benny got kicked out of his home because he got a little too old, and there were too many beavers on that part of the river. And he found a nice spot, but unfortunately, the farmers did not think that Benny plugging up their irrigation ditches and cutting down their apple trees was a very nice thing to do. So they moved him up into the mountains with several other beavers, including Ruffo, who we've heard about before. They loaded them on pack horses and took the beavers in sacks up to the mountains where they would be safe and where they could have a new home. And we will continue our story from there. Here we go. A cougar wandering in the hills that day saw the pack horses. He was curious, and as a dog or a cat might do, he followed at a distance. He saw the first group of beavers released and was very much interested. This might be important to him. The horses and men went on up the hill, and he followed to see what else he might find out. Later he returned to get an easy meal. He tried to catch one of the beavers, but it was not as easy as he thought it would be. The beavers could swim underwater very well, and they stayed on the far side of the pond, which was large enough to keep him away from them. Benny and the others had not had anything to eat since the day before, so they gladly nibbled the green twigs on the pile. After a while, Benny dug a hole in the bank under a pile of brush. When it was nearly done, Ruffo pushed him aside and took it over. Benny boiled inside, but he did not want to make a fuss. So he dug himself another den not far off. But Ruffo would not leave Benny alone. When Benny cut down a young tree a few days later, the bully chased him away and ate it all himself. Later, when Ruffo crowded Benny out of his new den, Benny had had enough and went downstream to find a new home. After swimming downstream several miles, Benny came to a delightful little pond of still water with leafy trees bending over it. Benny saw a ripple at the far side, and going over, he found Sally, a friendly young beaver. She had been brought earlier from another part of the valley, and she was all alone. She had already dug a den and built a small dam, and both beavers decided this would be an ideal place to start a new home. Life now was good for the two beavers. They had plenty of food, and it was peaceful and quiet. But as the summer became drier and the water levels in the pond went down, leaving the den opening almost bare, they had to build a bigger dam. Benny and Sally worked hard cutting down trees to build a dam. Benny would get more branches from a tree he had cut. Sally looked up and saw something moving near her. She slapped the water hard, and Benny ran as fast as he could go. It was a cougar. He would have caught Benny if the beaver had not dodged under the tree he had just cut. From across the little pond, the two young beavers watched the cougar as he snarled at them. He could almost jump across the tiny pond. Right now he was crouched right over their den. Had they been in it, he could have easily caught them. They must have a lodge in a larger pond to be safe. We will continue and see what happens to Benny and Sally as we finish this story next time, Benny the Beaver. And I hope all of you are having a wonderful day and that your dens are not being crouched upon by cougars. If you have a little time and are looking for something to watch on YouTube, head over to the Oregon Adventist page. There you will find children's programming, preschool, and elementary and juniors, as well as a lot of adult programming from last week's online camp meeting. And if you click on the children's programs, you might even see a familiar face. So let me know what you think about Benny's story, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.